You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are
Robray.
How's every single one of you on a Saturday? We want to first, before we start everything, wish Jean-Paul Leek a happy birthday. Jean-Paul, you know, like all the best wishes from all the Robray family. Thank you for being part of this journey. And, you know, I don't know if Dynamite did justice to you. You know, that's a personal thing. We're going to talk about that. But, like, welcome to everybody for the AEW Dynamite review.
Yeah, you know, Dynamite, like you said, did Tony Khan, did he give me everything I wanted, or did he give us the usual, you know, shit in a box? I think it, you know, was more the second one. You know, the big super card for Saturday night, you know, they had fans. It was all leading up to Kenny Omega, Jungle Boy. And while that match necessarily wasn't bad, it, of course, had all the Dynamite, you know, things that Dynamite always does. Yeah. Yes, exactly. But just the rest of the card on this show was not very good for like a super show, so to speak. But, you know, we'll go through each and every segment.
Exactly. So, family, thank you so very much to every single one of us that are watching. Please start commenting. You know, you guys love this show. A lot of people already, like I saw somebody saying, like, the same ending as every single Dynamite. So, you know, there's a lot of people that think like us because the show could have been a lot better. They could have had better matchups, like maybe like the show that they're going to have like next week, like on Wednesday, is going to look a lot better than this one. And that I think should have been backwards because, I mean, they're coming back to Wednesdays. It doesn't matter. They're going to have the rating. It should have been this one. But thank you one more time. And, you know, everybody wish Jean-Paul a happy birthday. Send him money, you know, anything they want to send him. He never says no. You know, Jean-Paul never says no. So, like, don't forget to, like, also help us out, family, with, like, this video from the Smackdown review. Thank you for everybody that commented. There were a lot of reactions on Facebook also, you know, like more than 100 likes and stuff. Like everybody, like really happy that like Edge is just return it, and now he's gonna be challenging Roman Reigns for the, you know, Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. Completely confirmed, Paul.
Yeah, so, you know, we got to see if Seth Rollins, you know, factors into this at all. What's going to be the next big thing for Roman Reigns? You know, is John Cena? We don't really know. Like, we kind of went through all the different theories, all the ways they might book this, you know, but with Edge coming back, like you and I said it, you know, it doesn't matter how they do it. He can't lose. At least he can't lose to Roman clean, get pinned, because otherwise he's been buried. You know, he loses twice, but yeah, I mean, definitely go check out the Smackdown review. Hear our full thoughts on everything that happened last night.
Exactly, you know, family, please do that. So, like, you know, don't forget Edge return, Money in the Bank match, Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. Dynamite, of course, opens up with like, can we actually get like a better opening? You know what I mean? You know, we have our first comment, so let's hear it from Pato. Hey, I'm here, my friends. Yeah, he's saying about like
Pato.
The same thing that Edge said. Pato, Pato, dile a Jean Paul, feliz cumpleaños, por favor. Dile a feliz cumpleaños es el día de hoy. So, you know, Dynamite opens up all with like, you know, of course, like Alex Marvez, he's going to be interviewing Sammy Guevara, and he's like, oh, you know, I'm looking for him. Oh, you know, like the guy's right here. So before he can even say anything, and that's the main thing about this show. It's not that we hate it. We were being fans ever since the AEW started, but every single time it's the same kind of tactics. Can they change that? You know, like Sean Spears, the chairman, shows up and then beats him up. And then, what's up, fella? You know, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, this show perfectly shows how there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, where it's like, okay, we see these attacks, we see all this, you know, high action. Yeah, it's cool, but when you see it each and every week, it's not good anymore. And like you said, Dynamite, they keep doing it. They don't try to switch it up. You know, it's like eating this, like you said, even though steak dinner on SmackDown, even though steak dinner is good, if you eat steak dinner every single night, it starts to taste like shit. And that's what the show is. It's, you know, it tastes like crap.
Yes. And now he's saying like, feliz cumpleaños, Jean Paul, you know, from the Robert family in Spanish. So, you know, there you go. But it's true. Like, you know, like, it's just like, it doesn't, when you open like this, I mean, I get it, but it always has to be somebody from behind. Can never be like two men going at each other, you know. Like,
and also we know, you know, we're not idiots. It's not like, oh, what's Sammy gonna do? We know later on in the show he's gonna attack them and beat them up and look, you know, strong, which is pretty much what happens. So, you know, everything is it's so predictable.
It is very predictable, and that's the main problem. You know, like again, like even Jericho, there's been a lot of reports that people say like they acknowledge their own mistakes. You know, JR notices everybody that books the show, everybody in creative, they know that they book it in the same exact fashion. why would you not change that so it makes it more enticing for people to watch? Because even their own fans are starting to get tired of the same thing. So I
Oh
don't
yeah.
understand it. So Paul, tell me a little bit about like the match that opened up the show. Adam Hangman Page going against Powerhouse Hobbs. A pretty good match. Powerhouse Hobbs got like a really, really great showing in this. I think he dominated for the entirety of the match all the way towards the end.
Yeah, he really did, and I thought he looked good. Adam Page, still my favorite guy here in AEW, but Powerhouse Hobbs, I think if he was in like NXT or a place like that, he would be a lot better off. But he's here in Dynamite, at least he's with Taz, somebody who knows what he's doing. And, he looked pretty good in here. Obviously, he still has a long way to go, but just the gimmick and the way they present him, the way Hangman sold for him, his power and everything, he looked good. And I was hoping this match would have just been, evenly contested. Hangman comes out in the end. He uses his veteran savvy. But no, it didn't come down to that. It came down to, of course, we had to see Ricky Starks come down again. The same bullshit, him and Hook, like, like, use the title. Let's be bullshit.
Like you said, it gets annoying after 9,000 times.
Yeah,
like,
it's the same thing we've seen so many times, and it's just like, how it's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of distraction, interference. Hangman is going to, hit his big move, big finisher, 1, 2, 3, and done. And then we saw Brian Cage come out. He was stripping Ricky Starks. I didn't know what I was watching here, and then so then he starts running off, and Brian Cage chases him. Of course, they're not going to do anything too physical because his neck is still obviously broken and healing. And then that sets up. I did like though how Powerhouse Hobbs did counter like the buckshot lariat.
That
and
was
stuff.
a beautiful
That was
counter.
good.
Like when he did like the spine buster right here. I have it for you. Really, really,
Yeah.
and I would have not been upset if Hobbs wins like that.
Yeah.
Because it would have made sense. It would have been much more real than anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. But Page, he kicks out and then he hits the. I like how he hit the dead eye. I like how he hit the dead eye because he doesn't hit it all the time. Yeah, he doesn't do it all the time. It's a lot of. I like how he has 2 moves to finish. Like he has 2 finishers that actually he uses to win matches. You really don't see that too much anymore. Either a guy has a finisher like a 1, 2, 3 pin or a submission. You usually don't see a guy hitting 2 moves to get the 1, 2, 3. So I like that. I just wish it was clean, not the distraction. But they're really trying to, I guess, sell Brian Cage as a babyface, which I don't think he'll be. I think that'll hurt him being a babyface and breaking off from Team Taz. I don't know why you split this group, but they're doing what they're doing. I don't know.
I agree with you. Like the dead eye, I love it. Like, and remember, like the last time that probably a guy had like 2 finisher moves on that is like the Undertaker, like the choke slam and like the tombstone pile driver. Much more like that, or maybe Edge at kind of like 2003 around that, or when he did like start doing the spear and the executioner.
Yeah, or even like the
glorious DDT.
Yeah, I mean the Undertaker, he's probably like the most, like the last ride and everything. He has a bunch of, like finishers like that.
Exactly. But so like like a pretty good match, like you said, like Hangman Page is gonna be the guy. I don't know when, like you said, maybe like he needs more matches. And see, the good thing is, for example, the Dark Order never showed up. So that's cool.
Yeah,
but like
that was
said,
nice.
Like, can they have like and this is something that I'm asking trivia to every single one of you, to everybody that is watching, like have a match in Dynamite have ended and then just like without any interference.
Yeah, from bell to bell, it's just
when is
2
the
guys
last
in the
time
ring
that
and the
we've seen
ref.
that?
Yeah, we
when is the last time?
Never.
Because this show is classic for that. That's the signature move right there. If we call Impact that they say that is jokey, is gimmicky, all of that, this is the signature move. This is the constant that we see every single Dynamite. It's just the pose attack, interference. Why do they change that? So this is going to be the main event. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. But they have, of course, a video package, and they mentioned that like on Saturday when we covered this. It's in the archive, so you guys can see it when Brodie Lee became the TNT champion. So I said maybe Jungle Boy might have an opportunity, which I mean. Like for everything, how they sold the match and everything, I feel that like at least he didn't look bad. Despite his size, maybe despite like how in comparison with Kenny Omega, like you can tell the difference. But like at least bringing up Brodie Lee is always in a good note. I like that. I think that they did something good on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, going to the match, the main event when we talk about it, there's definitely a way that they could have had Jungle Boy still look strong even after the match, which clearly everybody who was watching, and if you didn't, Kenny Omega, still the AEW World Champion, but there is a way that they could have done a lot better to make Jungle Boy look good. And, they keep, and I'm not trying to be mean, nothing against the family, but they keep bringing up Brodie Lee. They keep talking about him. They keep trying to like, maybe cash in isn't the right word, but it's like they keep trying to like, hey, tug on fans' heartstrings. Hey, remember Brodie Lee, all this stuff. And it's like, don't keep bringing them up unless you're going to do something legit. Don't be like, oh yeah, like Jungle Boy, and then Jungle Boy loses, because then that just makes Brodie Lee look like an idiot.
Yeah, like like it's something like that you got to be really careful of. How are you going to use this information? That's kind of like how you're supposed to use it. But we got a promo by the Young Bucks. Of course, like they look like their look is just bad. I mean, they're trying to play heels where they're doing a good job. I'm not going to deny that. But they were just talking about how they were pretty much taking every single tag team on AEW, SCU, John Moxley. They didn't say Eddie Kingston. Why? Because Eddie Kingston is in a tag team with Penta Cerro. But they said that like they're going to have a match next week. And if they win that, then we'll get an opportunity for the tag titles. But I said, they're not going to win that because we're the best tag team in the world. So they were kind of poking fun and all of that. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. The Young Bucks being heels, no, it's not working for me. I mean, they're annoying as hell, yeah. But is it doing something for the show, though? Is it making the show better? No, I don't think so.
No, and it's not just because of the way that we always see them presented, where it's like, they always come out like stooges. They always try to be funny instead of being more just like assholes, heels like that. They're just trying to be like goofy. And you always see Brandon Cutler with the weird face shield and the aerosol spray. And that's how they've been winning all their matches. They don't have legitimate heat. They have like, you're really like a fly on a hot summer day that keeps buzzing in your face. That's the kind of heat that they have with me. So yeah, this isn't good. And like you said, I mean, I could see them winning this and this will be the next title match, but they won't beat the Bucks for the belts.
No, no, I agree with you. I don't think that that's going to happen, but that's what we got. And yeah, we got to respect that, right? That's what I mean. I don't know, respect it, but at least
no. But I mean, it's we have to deal with it. Yeah,
exactly, deal with it. But this was okay. I mean, I know that like you probably didn't enjoy this a lot, but like they had a pretty much like a talk, like a face-off in between Tully Blanchard and Konnan. And I like when Konnan came out, the intensity, like the stuff that he was saying was cool, just kind of like reiterating, letting us know that like he's been the father of Santana and Ortiz when it comes to like a wrestling thing. He's helped them out. Like, remember the days where LAX on Impact? He says, I'm the one. They know me. They need me. And also, like, they're my boys. We have a bond. We're family. It talks a little bit in Spanish. Took a few shots, at white people. And we got to say it, but it was funny for me. Talk about Tully Blanchard, like, it was able to come back at him really, really good, too. So, like, it was a really good war of words. Did you like this? I mean, I think at least the words, I think, were okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, obviously, you can use your platform to bring any type of awareness for something, and everything Konnan did say is true, when he was taking his shots, but it's like, was now really the place? Like, did it really make any sense? Obviously, what everything he said, Santana and Ortiz, these guys came to me when they were young and troubled. I gave them guidance. They look up to me as their father. That stuff is all fine, because obviously this is a feud with FTR and Proud and Powerful. But the whole like, Latino people are incarcerated and all this stuff, it's like, it's true, but it just seemed like really out of place to just kind of have it in the middle of this promo. So that kind of felt off to me. And then I didn't like how it was just like, yeah, well, you have, this big a gun. Well, my gun is bigger. Mine is bigger. And they just kept trying to like, oh, well, I have all these guys in the back because I knew you tried to pull shit. And it's like, yeah, well, I knew you would have guys in the back. So I beat up Santana and Ortiz with FTR. And it's like they kept outdoing each other, which I thought was a little bit like, kind of like, not corny, but I don't know, just like a little like awkward. It was just, it wasn't good. It wasn't something that seemed realistic.
Yeah, like you said, like at least the word works. Like, in some points, I like, for example, the line that, like you said, they said that like you better learn Spanish because your grandkids are gonna be talking that. But like you said, like Tony Blanchard like says, well, you know what, I got my guys, and Konnan, I got my guys too. So this was the part that I did like how they fooled. Tony Blanchard, like, he's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You have your guys, and he's like, but check out the big screen. Like, are they really your guys? And then you see Santana and Ortiz. So we're done. And then in the end, it turns out to be that it's FTR. So FTR were like just like dressed up as Santana and Ortiz, like they did the pile driver right there on Konnan. That was cool. I mean, at his age, he can still take a move like that. And then you see like good heel heat for what is going to be FTR. All the differences against North Carolina. And also, like what is like New York, different upbringings.
And I love that. Like you said, the spike pile driver, and he gets in his face. He's like, yeah, how do you like that? Tully, all this intensity. Tully's legit too. And, this is good. I wish just this feud was to determine the number one contenders to go after the Young Bucks, and they weren't with Pinnacle and they weren't with the Inner Circle, and they were just in the tag division. Don't you think that would make this so much better?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it will just be like wonders for these guys.
And remember when they had Marco Stunt fucking duct taped to a chair, and everybody was supposed to be like, "Oh my god, poor Marco Stunt."
Oh yeah.
You remember that? Imagine if they did that with Konnan instead,
Oh
like
no,
right now, and didn't already do it with Marco Stunt, which completely ruined it and made it look corny and made it look stupid and phony. If you would have did it right here with Konnan, and then you could have put the fake blood on him, made him all beat up, even make his head down
like
like
they did
he's
with
knocked
Papa
out.
Punk. You know, like they
Yeah,
did with Papa
exactly.
Punk, it would have been
Do
much
something
better.
like that. But I don't know. I'm still excited for it, but I wish it was just presented. Not that this was bad, but I just wish it wasn't still Inner Circle versus Pinnacle was the main feud.
Yes, exactly, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that because again, that was still way too long. Is it like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Same thing,
Yeah.
way too long. I didn't like this because I don't know if it's burying Andrade or like it's just like making him look dumb. Vicky came out because we were supposed to get this match. We're supposed to be Dante Martin against Matt Sydal, aka Evan Bourne, WWE days. We got to just mention that. But as they're coming out, as Dante Martin's coming out, you get to see El Idolo, Andrade Cien Almas, or Andrade El Idolo. And then Vicky introduces him. Like they said, they have a big message, a big announcement to make. So like he's right there, like all, just showing. And you can see in the suit, it says El Idolo. And he trademarked that. That's why he's showing that. He trademarked that. So like, at least he's a businessman on now. And then you get to see like Matt Sydal comes out and then he just like brushes him off. So I didn't like this because again, it's dumb. How are you making Cien Almas look or like a little or whatever?
Yeah, I mean Andrade to me, he's one of those guys. He's so good in the ring, but I think he's one of those wrestlers who just has a black cloud over him. It's just like, okay, fresh start. Everybody knows how legit I am or says how legit I am. I'm going to go to this company and I'm going to have a fresh start. And I choose probably the worst wrestling company that doesn't even present wrestling in the United States. And it's not actually WWE, it's AEW. So It's like the guy is just, I mean, if you want it to be legit, you go back to Mexico, you go back to Japan, you go to like an MLW or even a Ring of Honor is more legit than this, at least for wrestling. So Andrade coming here, if he, didn't expect to be presented like a joke, then I don't know what he expected, especially they're like, oh, we're going to put you with Vicky Guerrero. This guy would have been better on his own. To me, Vicky Guerrero coming out with the excuse me thing, again, let's just copy something WWE did. And she's also managing Nyla Rose, who, besides now going after Britt Baker, before that looked like an absolute loser. So why would Andrade, who's supposed to be the best wrestler in the world and all this stuff, align himself with a manager of a loser?
No, yeah, it's true. It is true. Like, I don't understand why they will do that, but that's what we got. Like, so like they did that. And like I said, I don't know how serious like he's going to be presented. And it's a problem. But, moving along to like the match Dante Martin against like Matt Sydal, they had a match, cool, average. I didn't get too much behind it because they're also like, I don't know if you saw, if you pay attention to this, but like 5 or 6 picture-to-picture breaks. So, I mean, am I seeing like half of like the breaks? I get more excited when I see like, RV sandwiches. I get to see like Wawa stuff. I get a lot of things like that rather than the match itself. But in the end, Dante Martin, like really nice in the ring, really athletic. Like, you get to see like a high flyer in him. But my Sydal, of course, like he has to like, win because he's like the veteran here. I like the move, like the finisher move that he does is more like a swinging neck breaker. It's kind of into like a DDT. But in the end, Sydal wins, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, this match, it was definitely that high-flying style, and it was pretty good. And that Dante Martin, for only being 20 years old, he's really good, too. See him, Top Flight, I think, would also be another good team to have in NXT, to really learn, because those guys are so young, and they're able to, they're like a fresh piece of clay. You can mold it and form it to however you need it to be. But, unfortunately with his tag partner being here and like, he's the young guy, like you said, he's going to put over Matt Sydal, but Matt Sydal made, Dante Martin look he made him look good in this match and it was pretty good. But unfortunately, with the whole Andrade thing interrupting him and just, this match is out of nowhere. These guys haven't been really presented legit in any storyline on TV. So, in a sentence, nobody cares.
Nobody cares, exactly. Like that, and that's the thing. Like you said, the card was really weak. It was very, very weak, and that like really hurt the whole show. The whole like flow of the show. It hurt him. Like Jungle Boy. Let's talk about him. Like he's gonna cut a promo. He's about to cut a promo, right? Can I finally say my promo? No. Christian Cage in the Robs. Hey man, how are you doing? Are you legit? No, I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna lose anyway. It's fine. My family's there. They just brought him there so I can lose even better. All of that. Oh well. Hey, you have it. This is like the best match of your best night of your life. You can win that championship. You can prove everybody that they were wrong. And then how you beat me, all Double or Nothing. Now you can do the same with Kenny Omega. So Christian just, encouraging him. That's fine. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, and maybe they had Christian interrupt him because Jungle Boy has no emotion in his voice when he cuts a promo. Like, again, not to sound insensitive, but did his dad get all the acting skill? And Jungle Boy was left with nothing because, he can't cut a promo to save his life. Just, oh, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give it all I got. Like, can you have a little emotion and fire? You're supposedly going after the most protected title in all of wrestling,
like
the
AEW
title.
That's supposed to be your dream. Going there,
I mean,
man.
Yeah, so that's probably why they had Christian interrupt. But like you said, this is so stupid. And it's just, what it was setting up. Okay, Omega's going to beat Jungle Boy. And then he's going to go after Christian. That's why Christian's involved. But because the show is a mess, and we'll talk about the main event too. It's like, isn't Christian going after Matt Hardy? And is he also going to be going after Omega? And it's all just a mess.
They make a big pile. It's like you said, a sandwich with so many layers that you see how big.
Well, you know what it is. It is a big pile. A big pile of shit.
Yeah, it's a turd. Yeah, exactly. So no more. This is okay. I mean, the way that she's being presented, I don't like it. But I feel that taking care of her, trying to present her even better. Jade Cargill can be really good. Big problem, Britt Baker's the champion. So, you have a big heel in her, so another big heel. Nyla Rose is another big heel. So, when are their baby faces in this, women's division? Serena Deeb is like an NWA. Thunder Rose, the same thing. Chris Statlander is somewhere else, and we're going to talk about that. So, Hikaru Shida is just, on Rampage or, on Dark. But, at least this girl has at least the passion. And like you said, too, also, she has, the wrestling skill. Now she has to develop everything. Put everything together, but it needs time to be evolving.
Yeah, exactly. And I do, I think, because she's another one, too. She was actually more impressive in the ring than I thought she would be. And she obviously has the look. I think the promos are getting a little bit better. They're not still great. I mean, better than Jungle Boy, at least. And that's not saying much.
Yes.
But, this was still pretty good. And I do think they will make her women's champ. I do love the line when Mark Sterling was like, yeah, we're sold out of all Jade shirts, size 2X and up, which knowing wrestling fans, that doesn't surprise me. I do love how they make the jokes and stuff like that. So it was pretty good.
We can have our own, jobs like them. Yeah, it's true. So and then she broke she ripped the Dark Order shirt, which again, if they do it if they do it in a promo, what is that telling you? What could have been one of the greatest, groups, stables in wrestling, fell short, and that has nothing to do with Brodie Lee. I'll make that statement right there. The way that they present everything. And after Brodie Lee, it's just been the problem. So there you go.
Yep.
Let's talk about, MJF. He's with Wardlow, with the chairman, Sean Spears. He's looking at, you can see Peyton Royce honey, don't be stripping over there. Watch out, honey. Don't be doing that. So anyway, he's just talking about MJF says everybody's pissed off. Not what I did to Jericho. Not what I did to, other members of the Inner Circle. It's everybody's pissed off what I did to Dean Malenko. Because he's old and he's done. So getting a lot of heat. And again, can you finish the promo, Paul? No, because there's always have to be an attack, an interference. So you see Jericho, the other members of the Inner Circle, then they start beating each other up one more time. Is it entertaining? No, it's not. And then they get to the point that actually MJF and also Sean Spears and Wardlow, they level the things. So they're going to break Jericho's arm, and then Sammy Guevara comes out. So Sammy Guevara
and also how about when his music hits? There was a good maybe 15 seconds till he got to the ring. Just because a guy's music hits doesn't mean you have to stop and freeze. Still, they could have cracked Jericho with the chair as his music was playing. Yeah. But I'm like, this is so stupid. And like you said, Guevara comes out. He makes his big comeback. And instead of them beating him up, they just stand there and look shocked like they're seeing a ghost. And they just let him hit all his big moves. He stands tall. And he's like, oh, MJF, you say you're better than everyone and you know it. But when we have this match on Wednesday, I'm going to show the world what they already know, that I'm better than you. And you'll know it or some bullshit like that.
The best ever. And you know it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, he drops the mic and MJF's all, selling like a heel. Like, oh, I'm so pissed. This sucks. Right there, this completely sucks. This is bad. No, I mean, yeah, Sammy Guevara and MJF. Know how that would have been cool? The same way FTR and Proud and Powerful would have been cool if they weren't in a group and it was just in the single division. Hey, these two guys are feuding. Man, maybe one of them is going to, move up and maybe they're going to challenge Omega or maybe they're going to go after Miro.
Yes.
Or there's going to be something, this is a really big feud. Really, it's going to really propel. Not that the announcers say that, But it's like whoever wins, backstage, when you're writing the script and, booking it, it's like, this is a really big feud, lots of heat, lots of momentum to this. Whoever wins it, we can move into a title match.
And that's the biggest thing. And that's what, like, you should book your feuds and everything, because that's how it's supposed to be, like the pipelining. It's like, oh, you go like, oh, if I win against this big guy that is like hated by everybody, but like he's won a lot of good matches.
Not Evil Uno having a title shot. And I like Brian Pillman Jr., but not Brian Pillman Jr. having a title shot. No, it should be somebody who wins a big feud like this against, a heel who's a good wrestler. Boom. They get a title shot.
Especially if they're gonna like even like take in consideration like the rankings or anything like that. How are you gonna get behind that? And we're gonna talk about at least God's favorite champion, like you mentioned Brian Pillman. So right, like he's just talking and he mentions, like how like he has a housewife, all of that. How like he's like doing his best at work, and he's like he talks about Brian Pillman. He's you're a liar, and I'm just gonna take care of you. It's just gonna be fine. Wednesday I'm just gonna beat you up. I'm gonna shut you up, and I'm still gonna be the TNT champion. Miro, like you said, finally is getting a little bit of credibility, and it's fine because he deserves it. At least it took like 5-6 months on AEW to actually get something. So finally he's riding like a good, reign for me.
Yeah, I mean, and I wish his feud was built up more. And man, that would be a great story if Brian Pillman Jr. would actually beat him for the belt. But I think they're doing it too soon. And this is just so weird after Miro came out and kind of helped Penelope Ford, even though he's supposed to hate Kip Sabian. So that was kind of killed his momentum and threw him off a little bit for me. But I mean, this match is still pretty good, but I see it ending the same way. Miro, doing not the Colossus. What the hell does he call it? The Accolade, whatever.
No, the
game over.
It's game over.
Game over, whatever bullshit he calls it. And just, Brian Pillman Jr. is going to tap out. But, we got
to hear from Brian Pillman Jr. too. Like, he was saying that, I'm just gonna beat you up, like I'm just gonna like use my fame from the dark side of the ring. I mean, like the guy has a lot of potential. Yes, Pillman Jr. Like we're all behind the guy, but in the end, is he really gonna win the match? I don't know. And like you said, like they don't give enough room to build stories here. Maybe like in a week, Pillman Jr. gets like the upper hand, and the next week then Miro again, and they go back and forth a little bit. That will be much more exciting than just to see like these two guys cutting like just promos like for 5 seconds. And like you can see, like look, not even looking like legit. It's just like how AEW presents their guys. But like Pillman Jr. in a few years, I know that like the future is right there. The seeds are right there. Is he gonna like get better? Time only will tell. So like let's go pull to like the next match. Like this show, like you said, wasn't that good at all. So like let's go to this one that again it doesn't like again, like you said, like it was really low for like what we were expecting for a Saturday, especially the last time they're gonna have AEW Dynamite on the weekend. Ethan Page against Bronson Reed. No, not Bronson. Bear Bronson. Does it hurt that the guy actually dresses like Bronson Reed? And his name is
I feel like that's the only reason why they pushed this guy in such a long match, even though there is no such thing as a job match or a squash match. I think the only squash match we've seen in the last 6 months was maybe when Lance Archer, beat the shit out of that one jobber a few weeks ago. But other than that, every match goes at least 10 minutes.
Yes.
And this was too long. I mean, Ethan Page, let's just skip right to the end. At least he hit the impressive, ego bomb or whatever he calls it on, or the ego's edge, excuse me, onto Bear Bronson. So that was impressive. But like you said, the guy's Bronson in his name. He looks like Bronson Reed. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? What am I watching? I know Tony Khan is on NXT. Does that mean Bronson Reed is now on Dynamite? What's going on here? Yeah. But I mean, it's, the main thing here is after the match, apparently, Ethan Page, they're just not done with Darby Allin.
Nope.
They just, want to, like every feud, Pinnacle, Inner Circle, this feud, just end it. We're so sick of these feuds, but they just drag him out forever. And he says, that they pinned him last week, but pinning him isn't enough. He likes to live on the edge, and he likes
I'm the nail to your coffin.
Yeah, and he likes to, pretty much, the coffin drop, all this stuff. So he's just like, I'm going to be the nail in your coffin, and we're going to have a coffin match.
Yeah, he said it's like he's going to 2 weeks in Miami.
And it's like like a coffin match. Like, is this a casket match? And can you not say casket match? Can you not come up with your own original idea, Tony Khan? You just have to copy WWE now. Because before, he was a mark for WCW. Yes. So he just did everything WCW. Now he's like, so now we have to copy WWE. Are we gonna see like the Boiler Room Brawl? But they're gonna call it like the janitor room jam or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell
exactly,
you're gonna
because
call
they
it,
don't
but
have the rights to it, so they have to like say this. Well, we did it with Blood and Guts War Games, So like now it's coffee match.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. This to me is stupid. This is lame, and Darby Allin's gonna win. So what's the
Yes,
point?
exactly. So like the feuds are so predictable, and that's another big problem. And I mean, like it's fine that like Ethan Page is like, if he will be without Scorpio Sky, it will be better. Not saying that Scorpio Sky is bad. The Man of the Year is cool, but like they need to be separated because again, as a tag, they're not really doing it for me. Why? Because they lost to Sting and Darby Allin. Like they need to solidify that tag team by winning a big match like that. But at least this is like again, this is giving them something to do. That's the only thing I can say on that because again, coffin match is a casket match, and Ethan Page is gonna lose. This guy, unfortunately, he chose the wrong path. I would much rather like see him being portrayed legit on NXT. Triple H, I think, would handle him a lot better, but unfortunately, they're not doing that. Ethan Page, Darby Allin, Road Rage, Miami is going to be a coffin match. Okay. Moving on, Paul. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, we got to hear because we got to give her him because they're going to have a match on Wednesday with Reba against Eddie Guerrero, not Eddie Guerrero, against Vicky Guerrero, and also like Nyla Rose. And then she said, hey, you could have got a yacht, you could have got a new car, you could have got a lot of money from Tony Khan. But no, you got a match with me, so it's just pointless because we're gonna beat you up because you're not even a wrestler, and Nyla Rose, the two of us can just handle her. So that's what she said. And then Vicky is like, no, we are actually gonna win. It's gonna be legit. Don't worry. And then she said in night 2 of one of the pay-per-views is gonna be Fury. What is the name of the?
Is it Fight for the Fallen or Fighter Fest?
Fighter Fest, yes. Night 2, Fighter Fest is going to be for the title Nyla Rose against Britt Baker. It's night 2. So they gave a lot of like already matches that was going to happen. And then, like a Nyla Rose said something on to the lines that like, Vic is going to help me out to win that match. Do we care about this feud? No. Because like you said, these two are heels. So why am I supposed to get behind this? There's no baby faces in this division. So that's a big problem. Why they don't build anybody outside of Hikaru Shida and at that point, big Britt Baker?
That, and also, how are you supposed to get into this when you have a tag match that has, somebody who doesn't wrestle very often, if at all, in a Rebel, and then you have Vicky Guerrero, who's not a wrestler at all, and this match, and how is this supposed to be taken serious? They're just going to do comedy bullshit. Britt Baker's going to look like an idiot and probably get pinned by Nyla Rose to add more heat and momentum into the feud, but it's just, killing all the credibility that Britt Baker had. Like you said, they should have, if this division was booked legit, you would have had a ton of credible baby faces lined up to face her, almost like they have in NXT UK, but opposite, where they have a bunch of heels built up to face their now babyface champion, Meiko Satomura.
Yeah, and that's the problem, like that's a big thing. Like you said, like they just like they need to build people. So like it's easy to like babyface against heel. It's just the very easiest booking because again, Nyla Rose is a heel. Yeah, you could do sometimes heel against heel, but do people care about Nyla Rose in that regard?
No.
That's that's the issue. Nyla Rose, we haven't seen her being portrayed like a really good light, and that's why nobody cares about it. And that's why the show suffers because nobody really cares about this. Because again, for example, like this could easily be something that you could have built 2 women for that division. Chris Statlander against the Bunny. Does it really now? No, it's not going to do anything. Why? Because this is actually going to turn a feud between the guys that are next to them. It's going to be Orange Cassidy against the Blade. So again, you could do Ali maybe turning babyface Statlander. Like remember, like she had a match against Nyla Rose for the title when Chris Statlander was actually legit. But now that she's alongside like the best friends in Orange Cassidy, do I really want to see her in that light? No.
Tell me, and I mean, to tell you honestly, this was 9 o'clock. I couldn't get into this match. I don't care. I don't think the Bunny's that good in the ring. I don't think Chris Statlander is that good in the ring either. When she came in, I'm like, okay, she's new to the business. She's only been here a couple years. She's, you can maybe do something with her. I think she's gotten worse. I don't know. And then putting her with the best friends also just makes her less appealing to me. So I couldn't get into this. I don't care. This match, it meant nothing. It wasn't anything. None of them said, oh, I want to go after the title, or, they don't have no deep hatred for each other for anything. This was just, it wasn't interesting. That was the thing. Yeah. It was just a random match thrown together. The problem with the show is some of the storylines are so complex and interweaving because they don't make any sense. And then other times there's no story at all.
Yes, and then and that's something that, like you said, it should be that like the girls have something to fight for. And again, this match actually turns out to be a feud for like the guys that they were alongside them. So you see the super kick right there from like Ali. I mean, in Impact, she looked a lot better. She got more of a character. And that's the thing. Sometimes you cannot be that great in the ring, but if you have a character, I want to watch you every single week. But she's like, she couldn't beat her. And then this is the main thing. Of course, they have to use Orange Cassidy in this light. They gave her like the Blade gave her the brass knuckles. Orange Cassidy grabbed it, put it in his pockets. Big thing. The Big Bang Theory. Of course, they do that because what channel is the Big Bang Theory on? TBS from TNT. That's why they call that the finisher move. That's the only reason that they do that. You get that from Ropery, the exclusive. No, she wins. Chris Statlander. Can the match end, in like a legit, just like we cut out and when we go into commercial break? No, it can never end that way because it's AEW. So, of course, they have to grab the brass knuckles, right there, like Angelico and Evans came out. And then, they held the blade. Boom, they get a big shot on Orange Cassidy. So that's going to be a feud now. And we know that Trent actually went for surgery. The guy that is actually the best wrestler out of all these three guys in the Best Friends is actually out and for an injury one more time.
Yeah, and, you have TH2 there with Matt Hardy. And so is the Butcher and the Blade, I guess, last we saw. And, with what we saw in the main event, Matt Hardy is against Christian. Christian went after Omega. Matt Hardy and them came out to help Omega. Does that mean Orange Cassidy and Chucky are going to be helping Christian against, Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy? You see how everything, like, he takes like 3 or 4 feuds, he throws them in a blender and hits parfait, and he just chops them all up and pours you a shit smoothie and we're supposed to drink it every night? No, I don't think so.
Again, like you said, like every feud should have like its own, like run time, its own segments. Not everybody needs to be just spread it out, scared away. It's not good. It's also spread out and it's not, good. At least we haven't seen from Cody because he's a dad. That's fine. Hey, he can enjoy that because Marshall is right there though. He kind of promo when he said, hey, he's on Hollywood. Hopefully he gets like a big role on something. That way we don't have to see him. So those shots are really good though. I gotta admit that. So he's just saying that he's gonna beat him in this match that is gonna happen also in two weeks. The strap match, the Road Rager, that's gonna be in Miami. That's in the same show that we're gonna see Darby Allin and also like Ethan Page in this in the coffin match. We're not allowed to say casket because it's AEW. We get copyright for that. We get a strike if we do that. So this match again. QT, is he gonna win, Paul? No, because it's Cody's return. So what's gonna happen? Of course, the Crossroads and done.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing here. I said before, I'm more excited for Elias versus Jackson Riker and a strap match in this. So.
At least, there's like an intrigue in that match. Don't forget also next week in the return on Wednesday, no more like weekend shows for AEW, Sammy Guevara and MJF. We already talked about this. The only thing mentioned to this, Paul, is like at least they're trying to cash in on Sammy Guevara because they know that's the next big star.
Yeah.
But, the way that he comes
until they find a way to ruin it. I was just going to say until they find a way to ruin him like they did Hangman Adam Page.
Yes, that is something that, like you said, Hangman had like every single thing that like to be the next big, actually to be the best, like the first AEW's like born star, and that was Adam Hangman Page. Till this day, we haven't seen that. I mean, hopefully by the end of the year, like he challenged Kenny Omega, and you already predicted like a year and a half ago he will kicked out of the One Win Angel. So when you do it, we'll give you like even more praise, Paul. We had to hear from like the boys, Eddie Kingston and Penta El Cerro Miedo. Of course, everybody has to cut a promo. Can at least you not be in one show? And if you are in the show, can you just, have a match? No, but of course they had to say, well, but Young Bucks, we're going to beat you. We're going to get those titles because that's the only thing you care about. You're like violent. You're just like relentless, all of that. But like once we take those titles away from you guys, then we're going to really hurt you. And, they have the translator. Do I really care about that? No. I'd much rather just hear like Penta talking in Spanish. It's just because it just adds something to him for me. But again, if Penta doesn't win, am I supposed to believe he's legit? No. That's a big problem for me. I don't know. I Penta, but if you don't win, you're just a lovable loser.
I mean, I know Phoenix is, he's probably hurt, and it's because the guy, his style is so reckless and so bullshit. A lot of the time, let's be honest, when he does his dives and throws himself at people, he usually misses them and sends himself 90 miles an hour into a guardrail or to a steel chair. But that's the team I want to see, the Lucha Bros. I don't want to see Eddie Kingston and Penta. I don't want to see Eddie Kingston and Phoenix. I want to see Penta and Phoenix. I want to see that be the tag team. And when that's not the tag team, I don't care. I'm not interested. I like Alex as the translator because it's a translator. They can't speak English, the Lucha Bros, so he makes sense. But when you have Kingston there, it's like Kingston can translate. Like, what do you need, Alex for? So
yeah, exactly. Like it will be much better because you're kind of saying that Eddie Kingston is bilingual or something. At least you're adding like something for Eddie Kingston, but So like, let's go, Paul. So finally, the main event: Kenny Omega against Jungle Boy. Like you said, this was the best part of the show, and we gotta admit, Jungle Boy is a pretty damn wrestler, pretty damn good wrestler. People, despite of the size, anything. I mean, maybe no emotion. Maybe just like emotion. He needs to go to some acting classes. Like he has a father, like he actually could have taught him one, I think, or two. But like he needs to just be more intense in the promo. He makes me make me feel something. But Kenny Omega, pretty legit in the ring. But like you said, the match went kind of like the ways that like we actually thought that they were gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was good, predictable. We knew Omega wasn't gonna lose here, but Jungle Boy, he kept hanging in there, and of course, there was a lot of, the picture-in-picture kind of took you out of it. I was scared thinking there might be a run over. Commentary kept saying, this will go an hour if it needs to. We'll stay on the air if it needs to. And I'm like, oh, please don't. Just please end at 10. And, but this was good. I like how Jungle Boy, he had a lot of counters and stuff for a lot of Omega's moves. Like when he set up the one-winged angel, he countered with the Spike Hurricane Rana. That was really good.
This was like, Paul, sorry, but like, this was dumb. Why you kick them out for them to like go back again?
Well, because this show just can't have a clean match. It should just be something where they're like, you know what? Omega, he kept talking all this shit. He said he'll beat Jungle Boy. He doesn't need the Good Brothers to come out. He doesn't need, Michael Nakazawa. Nobody. Jungle Boy says, I'm not going to bring Luchasaurus. Like, don't bring that little gremlin Marco Stunt. It should have just been these two guys. They had the match, and Omega wins. Omega, just because you're a heel doesn't mean you need to cheat all the time. Remember what we said about The Miz when he was IC champ and he would cheat all the time? And we're like, he doesn't need to do that all the time. He can just do it every now and again. Like when Ric Flair was the NWA champ, he would cheat every now and again. He didn't cheat every single match because then it makes you look like you can't win legit. And isn't Omega supposed to be the best wrestler in the world, not the best cheater in the world?
And like, the heel will cheat when like depending on the nature of the guy, and for example, like Jungle Boy, in all honesty, does he really need to cheat to be Jungle Boy?
No. But I did
we got to see Brain Buster right there for Jungle Boy, like you said, a good showing on him. But keep going, Paul.
Yeah, and I did like, when he would transition into the snap. What did they call it? Not the snapmare, but what do they call it? The submission he does. Yeah, they call it the snap something. But he a snap or snare trap. That's what it is. The snare trap. He locks that in, and that was really good. Omega sold that, and a lot of near falls by Omega, like he kicked, they almost got you a couple times thinking maybe Jungle Boy was going to get the win there, with the, really like late kickouts, like Jim Ross said, that wasn't even half a count away. And, I mean, it was,
his family was right there. The family
it was,
Jungle Boy.
But I mean, none of them really showed like the good, like cheering, I feel like we know our son's going to lose, okay, legit.
Is he in the crowd or does his mom?
Yeah, exactly. And there wasn't anything, good for like, it should have been where Omega had him on the outside and was really punching him and maybe, got a little bit of color and he's bleeding, punching him in front of his mother and she can be crying, oh no, my son. And he's like, that would have been, to get some good heat. That's the kind of thing you see with like John Cena's dad or like Randy Orton's dad. That's the kind of stuff, WWF would do to get legit heat. But we didn't see anything like that. And
then, these guys have to come out. So for me, that ruins the whole match. That to me is like, I what I thought about is just the ending of Against All Odds.
Yep.
A video that we did a few weeks ago. So like you said, like Kenny Omega, once he hits the big trigger, like that the ending is about to come because every time he hits that, and that is just wearing you out, but like you said, Jungle Boy, the transition, in one of them, he didn't sell the big trigger at all. And then he transitions to that. To the snare, like when there's snare trap, there's something like you call it. Then he went for another one. So like, that's Omega's style. I mean, it was okay. Then the one-win angel, and then, he finally retains. I mean, Jungle Boy has a great showing. In the end, you see maybe in a year or two, this guy's going to be the AEW champion. Once all the main guys, maybe Adam Hanman Page had his run, maybe MJF had his run, then it will be the time for like a big baby face in Jungle Boy. And that will be probably the best, outside of MJF, probably the best and first star that AEW has created,
Yeah, exactly.
The mom right there, done. We knew, like you said, there was no emotion from them, no emotion from the wrestler. But in the end, can this end like this? I would have been fine with it. No, because
or you could have just had it end, like you said, just the match ends. Maybe you have Omega and Callis and the Good Brothers. They can just stand there celebrating on the, at the entrance there at the ramp, like and then you just have Jungle Boy maybe sitting on the floor, or even he can be at the barricade and his family can be up and they can be, you know, having their arms around him like, hey, you know, you had a good showing, and commentary could say, he didn't get him today, but, you know, man, he was close. You know, maybe if he could, you know, challenge Omega one more time, he would, you know, be able to get him. And then you just go off the air going, okay, he lost, but man, we're going to put this kid over. And like, you know, if he gets one more opportunity, we really think he could do it. Instead, now let's beat him up. Let's embarrass him. Then let's have Christian run out, then Matt Hardy and everybody else and the Young Bucks. And then, you know, just a big cluster.
Oh yeah, right there. You know, like I was like the super kick parade for like, or the super fiesta for like a Christian. You know, am I seeing Moose right there? You know, and Matt Hardy, like you said right there. So like, why is everybody aligned? All of a sudden, we're all friends. You know, we're all heels. Like, this is not good. Like the way that you ended it, especially like you said, Christian, like could easily be the one that saves. Okay, if you want to do that, right? You save Jungle Boy, and Christian is clearly the guy that is going to be challenging Kenny Omega for the AEW Championship. What is the problem? You're feuding him with Matt Hardy. So again, so like you keep mixing everything, and that's why, you know, the endings are not good. Nobody likes them because, like you said, there's too many elements, and it's easy for people not to get behind this. Whether, like, for example, seeing, and we're not just being biased here, but like, see, Roman Reigns, Edge, two different entities. Okay, it seems like they're gonna have the match. Yes. What is the only guy involved? Seth Rollins. So, you know, you don't see like the factions right there. You don't see nobody else is just coming out in the aid of Edge. You know, you don't see Jimmy or Jay. I mean, you'll see him in the match, but that's it. But I just don't know. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's too much ingredients in the soup. It tastes bad, but unfortunately, you know, we're gonna have to keep eating it. That's what Dynamite is, and I don't like this. They need either somebody who has, you know, power over Tony Khan, and the only person that I would say that would be the TNT executive. Somebody needs to tell him, hey, you need to write your show better. But until that happens, we're going to keep getting the same old stuff. So
I mean, yeah, because for example, like, isn't this the same exact picture when we saw Impact against Old Odds?
It is
the same thing. So you know, and like you said, maybe it was like a small mention of Impact. Like you said, Jim Ross probably had to brush his teeth after he said Impact.
Yeah, it was. It's not good.
If you feel, you know, embarrassed of saying something, I mean, I know you probably don't like that company. That's fine, but just say it. You know, like they're trying their best also with what they're given. You know, and the fact that you don't give them an opportunity, you know, a little bit of, I don't know. I like JR, but like some of his views, you know, I don't agree with, and that's fine. But you know what we agree on, Paul, we want to wish you one more time happy birthday. You know, I'm sorry that Tony Khan didn't do justice for you. You know, it could have been a lot of a better show. Pato wanted me to sing happy birthday. We're not going to do that, you know, like the family, you know, don't, you know, if I get, for next show, I'll get in the guitar. We can actually do that in a legit way, but, you know, everybody wants to wish you the best for this year, Paul. And to every single one of you, you know, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Also, keep hitting that like button so more people get exposed to the original Rope Break. You know, we have a lot of content for you guys. You know, next week we're going to have Raw, AEW, more AEW. Yes, more AEW, NXT UK. So remind everybody else where they can find us.
Yeah, guys, make sure you also follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
Enjoy your weekend, family. You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...